So the other day I was looking at my 2025 art goals and reviewing what I accomplished in January, and I realized the answer was almost nothing. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why sometimes that is a perfectly okay thing. If you're anything like me, you set a bunch of goals for this year, and in this video I'm going to talk about my art goals specifically, and I had a bunch of them. I wanted to continue drawing every day, and this year focus on drawing people, not my dog, because I spent all the last year doing that, and it was helpful, but I'm moving on. And I have education goals. I want to get through certain curriculum, art-wise. I'm not in school or anything, but I want to get through like an online course. I want to create a finished drawing every month, like a high quality, like best effort drawing is what I'm calling it, every single month. And I'm interested in starting up some pieces of like an art business. I'd like to start up a newsletter. Eventually I'd love to start up a Patreon community. I think communities are really cool. I'd like to start up an Etsy site, and I'd love to do what I think is called a mock-up or a dummy. It's like basically like I want to write my own children's book and illustrate it, and just have it be a part of my portfolio to say like, hey, I have something that demonstrates that I have tried to do the work of a children's book. So I wasn't planning to accomplish all of that in January, but I was planning to make progress on almost all of that, and in the end the only two things that I did accomplish was, one, I wanted to start up a like an accountability, like an art accountability group in an online community that I'm a part of, and I did do that, and I'm really grateful that I did, because it's really cool and it's inspiring to like keep going with goals and see how other people are doing, and get ideas from other people. So I'm really excited about that. So that I did that, and then I did draw every day, but I had intended to draw people every day. I'm going through like a figure drawing course, and I have ended up just like feeling like I'm increasingly running out of time to draw every day. And so recently I've just been like doodling for like 10 to 15 minutes, really just to like check the box of drawing every day. And so that is like less than what I want to do. Here's Watson. He's come to say hi. Okay. Watson says hi. And while I'm thinking of it, I would love to hear how others are doing with their art goals this year. What's been helpful? What's not been helpful? Are you staying on track? And if not, what's helping you get back on track? And please remember, if you're enjoying this content, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. But yeah, so I looked back over January, and there's probably 5 different goals that I didn't get done. And I think like a lot of people was excited about starting January strong and starting 2025 strong. And it's easy for it to feel like, looking back over January, like it's like all my goals are not going to go well for this year, just because it was like such a rough start to the things I'm trying to accomplish holistically. And I remembered that it's just really helpful to take like a macro view of goals sometimes. I think like having like looking at any given day, like a micro view of goals, can sometimes be really discouraging, because it's easy to have bad days, and it's just normal. It's a normal part of the process. But it's really wonderful when you zoom out and look at the macro goal or the micro view of goals. If you've been, I think especially if you've been working at growing or setting goals and really trying to reach them and learn from mistakes, and get back on track when you get off track and all those things. When I look at really like the last 5 years of my life, I've grown tremendously I think so. In any given year over the last 5 years, I've grown tremendously. Like, I mean, I didn't really start pursuing art until last year, so I'm actually just talking about other areas of my life at the moment. But it's really encouraging to think that at a macro view, I've made huge strides. I think it was like 2019 was the first year where I realized, oh, I can change my life dramatically by just like setting goals and deciding that I want to take control of my life and decide that I'm not just gonna default to like whatever happens and say like I'm gonna set my own goals and I'm gonna grow in areas that I want to grow in and identify my priorities every year and those kinds of things. And when I look over, that time period, it's awesome. It's really cool and encouraging. And I was thinking about that after I looked at my, what I got done in January and thought it's so easy to think of goals on that micro level. And I think I've been thinking about this idea of things being an event or a process recently, and I think that it's easy to think of goals and accomplishing goals as like it's supposed to be an event where like if you want to get in shape in 2025, if you buy this product or whatever, then like you just are in shape after you buy that product. And I think it's easy to think of goals like that, like it's supposed to just be this event, and it's just a process. It's always a process of growing, and I appreciate that about art. It's like there's no getting around the fact that like you're just going to incrementally get better at art. There's no illusion to like, well, I signed up for this course and I did this thing and I got these new cool pens or paints or whatever, and then I sit down to draw and it's like I don't have any new skills because I bought all that stuff. I just have to do the work of learning to do, learning new techniques and putting in the daily work. But I really appreciate that like long view of and that like process perspective of achieving goals. And so, I walked away from January thinking I did not get all the stuff done that I wanted to, but I learned some really important things really about like my schedule that like, and I don't know what the heck's going on the screen here. I was adjusting my camera. Sorry. But yeah, I learned there's some things I really need to focus on to for my schedule to allow me to make the progress that I want to make, and so that was helpful lessons learned. Anyway, so that like macro view of goals I think is really helpful for getting back on track when I feel like I've gotten off track. So just a note, that's really all I was going to say about 2025 goals at the moment. But this drawing here was from, I think it's from November of last year, and I got to a point in like the fall, like early winter of last year, where like I just don't know how I was posting videos every week and how I was like getting the time to draw in that I was getting in before last fall, because I just like it's like all my time went away, and but I was still drawing every day, and so I have all these like a backlog of videos from the fall and winter, early winter, like before Christmas of last year. And so I don't remember why. Oh, I know why I wanted to do this drawing. It's because I had been sitting with my son in church, and we bring sketchbooks to church, and like for our boys to be able to sketch, and very often, sometimes, I mean, I also sketch during church, but I was just trying to help my son sit still and sit quietly, and so I'll often try and just like draw, like we'll go back and forth, like I'll draw like a little really simple comic cell, and then he'll draw the next cell, and then we'll just kind of like do a story back and forth. And there was one day where I made these characters, and I just thought, I don't know, they're kind of fun and funny. So I wanted to try and develop them more here. And I did this random thing about my dog getting anxious when he smells like pickles. My dog does not actually smell like pickles in real life. I just thought this idea was funny. I like the idea of a dog being like, I do not want to talk about this, and I know that I smell funny. So it just made me laugh. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.